This is what working class Ukraine looks like. I'm in Podol, which is actually the center of Ukraine. I guess today some of the flights have been canceled to stop the invasion. I'm not quite sure how this works. The idea that the Russian army is going to be shooting down planes going into Kiev has got to, I mean, it's just one of the long lists of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard. So like, if the Russians would invade, how would they possibly think that shooting down planes is a good idea? Like, either they're good enough to get to Kiev, but if they're good enough to get to Kiev, then that would mean they're good enough not to shoot down passenger planes leaving Kiev, or else they're bad enough, which means they would never get to Kiev because the Ukrainian army would beat them. Either way, the logic makes no sense. An Italian friend of mine, he actually said it. He goes, it's almost like a false flag on a false flag, right? The Americans and the British accusing the Russians of possibly doing a false flag operation to invade Ukraine appears to be their false flag, pretending that the Russians will pretend to do this. I don't know if there's going to be an invasion or not. I think if there was, I believe history will prove it was more to do with the West pushing the Russians than the Russians wanting to invade. Because no one here, it makes no sense. I just had a meeting with a pretty serious Ukrainian businessman staying here. He's not leaving with his family. He could. He's got more than enough money. But same thing. He knows a lot of politicians, and the only people leaving are the people whose English is good enough to read the newspapers in the West. My favorite today, well, one of my favorites, of course, was the no flights to Kiev, or the airport shutting down. Great, huh? If there is an invasion, congratulations, Western countries, by making it harder for Ukrainians to leave. It really shows how much you give a shit about us, right? But the other thing is Zelensky saying, if you have intelligence to prove the Russians are invading Ukraine, can you please share it with me? Because I would really love to know as the president of Ukraine. just fucking take a moment and think about it. The president of Ukraine actually asking for the information that would show the Russians are invading Ukraine because he has not been given it by the Americans or the British who've been calling him. Sure makes you question, right? Do they have it, or what the fuck are they doing? No one really knows here. But anyways, today I'm about to lose some money on the stock market because the stocks are going to crash. I'll predict this is before the stock market opens. The only companies that are going to make money today are the oil companies and the Russian government, by the way. All of this has driven up the price of oil, which is great for Russian oligarchs. They're just laughing to the bank. What a world we live in. Anyways, I'm fine today. Weather's still nice, a little bit colder. Everyone's going around about their day. And the only protests I've seen in Kiev were the ones on CNN. I live where the protests apparently were. I sure didn't see the thousands of people who were marching like they told me, even though my apartment's 200 meters away. So take that with a grain of salt. Bye for today.